I just wanted to share some memories of Christmas in Peru. I lived there for a number of years, and we had a homestay, hostel, BB type business in the cloud forest. Not too far from Machu Picchu, you could walk there in about 5 hours. And Christmas was a special time. We had my nieces and nephews there. My daughter was very young. We had a plastic tree that we put up every year, which we bought in Cusco. And it was all about panetón, or panetone. Yeah, the Peruvians are now probably the world's largest consumer of panetón. They used to be behind Italy. It was that and hot chocolate, but hot chocolate made from your own cocoa beans from the farm, which is pretty special. And it was all about food and family. Long days, cooking, eating. I don't think we actually went anywhere. We would be preparing breakfast early in the morning, but lunch and dinner would also be being prepared at the same time. My mother-in-law would be out preparing the birds, and the rocoto would be soaking. And for rocoto, if you've ever been to Peru and had that, it's incredible. So many different dishes being prepared, and there'd be a small breakfast. When I say small, I mean it would be rice and yuca and all sorts of things going on, but it was to line the stomach before the main event, which was coming later on. And the whole day would be spent in the kitchen or in the dining room, either eating or preparing food, and sometimes eating and running back to check on things and prepare them at the same time. So it was basically one long food fest all day. Absolutely gorgeous. And we did start giving and receiving presents. We brought that over a little bit, and my nieces and nephews enjoyed that quite a lot, because there's still a huge amount of inequality, but living standards have improved somewhat for certain people in the countryside. And in a way, I have this strange Western sense of nostalgia for the simpler way that it used to be when I was first in Peru. But actually, it's really important that families have the ability to do something special to celebrate. And Peru's a very Catholic country. So I love the fact that we got to do the traditional Christmas. We had people over and we ate food together, which was wonderful. But we would always celebrate on the 24th. We'd have caldo de gallina, like chicken soup, at midnight on the 24th. Everyone would stay up and dress up. Lots of little traditions like that. We weren't too far in the countryside for my wife and mother-in-law to go to midnight mass, but my mother-in-law is very religious. She would do that. But very fond memories. It reminded me of my Christmases when I was a child, and I loved Christmas as a child, and my mum and dad always made it super special. And it was lovely to see it in a different context and a different culture. So yeah, very, very happy times. And my daughter grew up with Christmases in Peru from the age of 15 months to 8 years old. So her earliest memories of Santa Claus were basically, in a tropical setting, which is pretty wild. Very different to my experiences growing up, but I love that. I love that she's had that. My son, who was born 10 years later, he's having the British sort of traditional Christmas experience, and he's not lived in Peru. So the two of them have a very different perspective. But I would love to have a Christmas over in Peru one year, all of us, just to recreate that. They're really lovely.